Hello friends, myself Divas Joshi. I once again welcome all of you in my YouTube channel. So friends, today we will see what is excess air. Basically about the excess air I have already told you in my previous video. So today I will be focusing on how we can calculate the value of this excess air. So friends, let's start with our today's video. So friends, just for a purpose of recalling, as I have explained you, this is my combustion chamber where air and fuel enters and combustion takes place, and after combustion the products which are formed as a result of combustion releases from here in form of flue gas. Now we will have a look once again. Suppose my fuel is having carbon, hydrogen and sulfur as its constituents, and as I have already told you that the combustion of carbon results in the formation of CO2, the combustion of hydrogen results in the formation of water, and the combustion of sulfur results in the formation of SO2, that is sulfur dioxide. Once the fuel which is entering the combustion chamber reacts with this air, and which component of this air in particular? That is oxygen. As I have already told you in my previous video that oxygen is the prime constituent for the combustion. Now suppose the fuel is entering and I am supplying the just air which is required for the combustion of this fuel. So the just quantity of air which is required for the combustion of this fuel is called as theoretical air, as I have already told you. Since the fuel is having carbon and the combustion of this carbon results in the formation of CO2, so you will be having CO2 in your flue gas. Also similarly, since fuel is having hydrogen, this will result in the formation of H2O. Similarly SO2, and what is left? As you know, we have supplied the theoretical air for the combustion, and the oxygen of which will be consumed in the combustion. Then what will left? Then only nitrogen will left. So these are the four quantities which in this case you will find in your flue gas. So remember, as I have already told you, for good combustion only this much air is not sufficient, because proper mixing of fuel and air is also required, so that all the reactions that are involved can take place effectively. So in addition to this theoretical air, I will also supply some excess air, as I have already told you. Now one thing I have also told you, that this excess air is represented in terms of percentage. Now percentage of what? So excess air is represented in terms of percentage of theoretical air. Now it is very clear that excess air is defined as percentage of theoretical air. Now suppose if the excess air is being given as 10% and you are having your theoretical air as 100 kg, then what will be the value of excess air? Simply you can calculate 10% and it will come as 10 kg. You can say that the total air supplied, which is also called as actual air supplied, that is written as AAS, which is nothing but actual air supplied for combustion of fuel. Now as I have already told you that the total air supplied is the summation of theoretical air and the excess air. So in this case the total air supplied will be 100 kg, which is the theoretical air, plus the excess air which is required for creation of turbulence, so that proper mixing of fuel and air takes place. So here the total air supply or the actual air supply will be 100 plus 10, and that will come as 110 kg. Now as you have seen that these are the four combustion products which will be formed if the fuel is having carbon, hydrogen and sulfur, and you are supplying the just air which is called as theoretical air. In actual, you are not only supplying the theoretical air which is required for the combustion, but you are also supplying the excess air which you can see here. So now it is very much clear that the oxygen which is present in theoretical air will be consumed in the combustion chamber during the combustion of this fuel. So what about the oxygen which is present in this excess air. So that oxygen will not take part in any of the reaction because it is not required as such, because the oxygen which is required for the combustion has already been supplied by this theoretical air. So this oxygen will pass as such directly in the flue gas. So in the general case you will be supplying this air which is theoretical air plus excess air. So accordingly, corresponding to this excess air, you will also find presence of oxygen in your flue gas. Now, as I have already told you that you can calculate the theoretical amount of oxygen which is required for the combustion of the fuel depending on the percentage of carbon, hydrogen and sulfur and the other constituents which require oxygen for their combustion. And accordingly, once this oxygen has been calculated, you can easily calculate the theoretical air. But how you can calculate this excess air? How you can calculate the value or the percentage of excess air that is required for creation of turbulence? So, for calculation of excess air, we use empirical formulas, and you all must have read what are the empirical formulas. So you should remember, and you must have read also, that empirical formulas never give the exact value, but they give the values very near to the exact ones. So there are two empirical formulas for calculation of excess air. The first one is based on the oxygen quantity and the second one is based on carbon dioxide quantity in the flue gas. So how we can measure the oxygen and carbon dioxide in the flue gas? So for this some instruments are required. So for measurement of oxygen and CO2 various instruments come, which we will take care subsequently while we are dealing with those instruments and the other which are required for your energy auditing. So what will you do? You will take your instrument here in the flue gas side, and the reading of these instruments will either give CO2 if it is an instrument which measures CO2, or it will give the value of O2 if that is an instrument which measures O2. So friends, once you have calculated the value of CO2 and the oxygen in the flue gas, so you can use this formula for calculation of excess air supplied. So this will be used in case where you are having the value of carbon dioxide in your flue gas. And similarly, if you have measured the value of oxygen in the flue gas, you can also use this formula, that is O2% divided by 21 minus O2%. And friends, do remember that both these formulas are empirical formulas. Suppose you are having facility or you are having instruments such that you can measure both the CO2 and the oxygen. So there you can calculate the percentage excess air supplied by using both of the formulas. But you will see that the answer which you will get for both of them will not be same. As I have already told you that these two are empirical formulas. These will give the values quite closer to the actual one, but these empirical formulas will never give the exact value. So this formula is quite easy. You just need to measure the value of oxygen on the flue gas side, and once the value has been measured, you just have to put the values over here and you can calculate the percentage of excess air supplied very easily. Now we will see that for the case where we have measured the percentage of CO2, the formula of excess air supplied is being given as 7900 multiplied by CO2 percent theoretical. This T means theoretical value I am considering. This CO2 percentage A, that is actual which you have measured over here, divided by CO2 percentage actual multiplied by 100 minus CO2 percentage theoretical. Now next I will explain you how to calculate the value of this CO2 theoretical. So now I will again consider the example which is given in the book, and I have tabulated the data which is given in the question. So the first column is what you can say the constituents which are there in the fuel, and the second column is the percentage of each component or the percentage of each constituent by weight. So by percentage weight, carbon is present as 85.9%, hydrogen as 12%, nitrogen and 0.5%, similarly you can see for others also. Now what I have assumed, I will consider my solution for 100 kg of fuel. Suppose I have supplied 100 kg of this fuel which is having the constituents as under. Now I will calculate that in 100 kg of that fuel, how much will be the value of each of the constituents. I have made a third column which represents the weight of each constituents in 100 kg of fuel. So the weight of carbon present in 100 kg of fuel will be 85.9 kg, and the value of hydrogen present in 100 kg of fuel will be 12 kg. Similarly, the value of nitrogen will be 0.5 kg. Now oxygen by percentage weight is 0.7%. This means in 100 kg of fuel, oxygen present will be 0.7 kg. Similarly, sulfur will be present as 0.5 kg. And friends, remember, for calculation of theoretical CO2, I will proceed in the same way as I have proceeded for calculation of theoretical oxygen. So now it is very much clear how you will be getting CO2 in flue gas. The only constituents which is responsible in the formation of this CO2 is what? Is carbon. And the combustion equation that is involved is C plus O2, that is equal to CO2. So there is no other constituent which can lead to the formation of CO2. So how much CO2 is formed theoretically, we can easily calculate. So from here you can see that atomic weight of carbon is 12, the atomic weight of oxygen is 16, so the molecular weight will be 2 into 16. Similarly, molecular weight of this CO2 can be calculated as 12, which is the atomic weight of carbon, plus 2 into 16, because 2 oxygen atoms are present in CO2. So you can easily calculate it as 12, 32 and 44. So what I can say from here? I can say from here that 12 kg carbon is leading to the formation of 44 kg CO2, as you can clearly see from here. So by using the basic unitary method, I can say from 1 kg of carbon, how much CO2 will be produced? 44 divided by 12 kg CO2. Now I am having 85.9 kg of carbon in my 100 kg fuel. So I need to calculate how much CO2 will be formed from this 85.9 kg carbon. So since from 1 kg carbon I am having 44 by 12 kg of CO2, so from 85.9 kg carbon I will be having 44 divided by 12 multiplied by 85.9, and it will come as 314.96 kg CO2. So we can easily see from 85.9 kg carbon, 314.96 kg of CO2 is getting formed. Now friends, if you remember that I have on my previous video calculated that the amount of theoretical air supplied or the amount of theoretical air required for the combustion of this 100 kg of fuel as per the same constituents as 1412.45 kg. So you can check my previous video, I will not repeat it again. Now what we are supposed to calculate? We are supposed to calculate percentage CO2 theoretical by volume in flue gas. Now you should also remember that percentage volume depends on mole. So percentage theoretical CO2 can be calculated as moles of CO2 divided by the total number of moles. Percentage CO2 theoretical, that is equal to moles of CO2 present and the total number of moles in flue gas. And friends, do remember that while calculating the total number of moles in the flue gas, we will not considering water, that is H2O, because water is taken as a separate case, as you will see subsequently. Therefore I have written dry here, as you can say. So now what we need to do further? We need to calculate moles of CO2 and the total number of moles that will be present in the flue gas. Now for calculating the total number of moles in flue gas, I will first calculate what are the various components that are present in the flue gas. Now friends, what will be the various components that will be present in flue gas? As I have already told you that in the flue gas you will have SO2, CO2 and nitrogen. So the amount of CO2 has already been calculated as 314.96 kg. CO2, I just need to convert it into mole, that we will see how we can do that. Now we need to calculate SO2 that will be formed in the flue gas. Now it is very much clear that the SO2 will be formed because of the sulfur that is present in the fuel, and the combustion reaction involved for the sulfur is S plus O2, that is SO2. And if you can see, it is a balanced chemical equation because the constituents on the left and right side of this equation are equal. So applying the same concept as I have done here, the atomic weight of sulfur is 32, the molecular weight of oxygen will be 16 multiplied by 2 and it will come as 32, and the molecular weight of sulfur dioxide can easily be calculated as 32 plus 16 multiplied by 2 and it will come as 64. From 32 kg sulfur you will get 64 kg SO2. So by applying the same unitary method, from 1 kg sulfur you will get 64 divided by 32 and it will come as 2 kg of sulfur dioxide. So what is the amount of sulfur present in my fuel? So I have considered 100 kg of my fuel in which 0.5 kg of sulfur is present. So from 0.5 kg sulfur, SO2 formed will be equal to 0.5 multiplied by 2 and it will come as 1 kg. So the SO2 formed is 1 kg. And what about nitrogen? As I have already told you that nitrogen will not take part in any of the reaction. So we have already calculated that theoretical air supplied for combustion of 100 kg of this fuel is 1412.45 kg, and you know that the nitrogen in air is 77% by weight, and the theoretical air which you have supplied is 1412.45 kg. So accordingly the nitrogen which will be present in this much amount of air will be 77% of 1412.45 kg and it will come as 1087.5 kg. So the value of nitrogen that will be present in the flue gas for the combustion of 100 kg of fuel will be equal to 1087 kg. Now these are the components which will be present in the flue gas. Now again, if I ask you a question, why not the oxygen is present here? If you are supplying only the theoretical air, then in the flue gas or in the exhaust you will not get any oxygen, because the oxygen that is available in the theoretical air is 100% consumed in the combustion itself. So friends, next we will calculate the number of moles for each of the constituents of the flue gas, that is SO2, CO2 and N2. For that we must know how to calculate the number of moles of any substance present in the given quantity of that substance. So friends, number of moles of any substance present in a fixed quantity can be calculated as is equal to weight divided by atomic weight if we are calculating for an atom, and for a molecule the number of moles will be equal to weight divided by molecular weight, because for a molecule we are interested in molecular weight and for an atom we are interested in atomic weight. So accordingly I have drawn a table where I have represented the various constituents that are present in the flue gas. So nitrogen, sulfur dioxide and the carbon dioxide that we have considered here. So accordingly the molecular weight of nitrogen is 28, sulfur dioxide is 64 and CO2 is 44. It is very easy and I have already calculated before. Now the weight which we have calculated for each of the constituent here like nitrogen, we have calculated 1087.5 kg. For sulfur dioxide, we have calculated 1 kg. For CO2, we have calculated 314.96 kg. So accordingly, I have written it here. Now, using the formula for the number of moles, that is weight divided by molecular weight, I can easily calculate the number of moles of nitrogen that will be present in the flue gas as weight divided by molecular weight, that is equal to weight. This is the weight, and divided by molecular weight. This is the molecular weight. So the number of moles of nitrogen will be equal to 1087.5 divided by 28. That will come as 38.83. Similarly, the number of moles of sulfur dioxide will be equal to 1, that is weight, divided by molecular weight, and it will come as 0.015. Similarly, the number of moles for CO2 can be calculated as weight of CO2, that is 314.96, divided by molecular weight, that is 44 kg, and it will come as 7.16. That is, the number of moles of CO2 present in the flue gas is 7.16. Now again, do remember that for calculation of CO2 theoretical, we are not considering the H2O that is present in the flue gas, or basically we are considering only the dry flue gas, you can say. So wherever in this chapter you will find dry written like this, so it is very clear that you are not supposed to consider H2O. Now moving next, since I have calculated the number of moles of each of the constituents present in the flue gas, so I can easily calculate now the percentage CO2 theoretical as moles of CO2 divided by total moles in flue gas, and that is dry in particular. So number of moles of CO2 is 7.16 divided by total moles in flue gas. So total moles in flue gas will be summation of this, this and this. So total moles in flue gas will be 38.83 plus 0.015 plus 7.16, and that will come as, and we have to multiply it by 100 also, so as to get my value in percentage. So this will come as 15.6%. So this will be my value for percentage CO2 theoretical. And once I have calculated the theoretical CO2 percentage by volume, and I have measured the actual CO2 percentage by the help of my measuring instruments in the exhaust side, that is in the flue gas, I can easily calculate the percentage of excess air supplied. Now one thing also you should realize here, that in case of theoretical air calculation, I am not considering the oxygen that will be present at the exhaust or the dry flue gas, but in actual we are supplying the excess air, so you will be getting some oxygen in the flue gas. So do remember that whatever the value of oxygen you are getting at the exhaust, or you can say in the dry flue gas, it is only because of the excess air that you have supplied. Suppose you have supplied 100 kg of excess air, that how much oxygen will be present in the exhaust or the dry flue gas? That will be equal to 23 kg, because oxygen by weight in air is present as 23%. As I have already told you, you will not get any oxygen from the theoretical air which you have supplied, because the oxygen present in the theoretical air is 100% consumed in the combustion itself. So I hope this concept is very much clear to you all. You should also remember that the actual air supplied is nothing but the summation of the theoretical air supplied plus the excess air supplied, and excess air supplied is generally given in the percentage of theoretical air. Now one thing you should also remember, that the value of percentage excess air which you will get by incorporating the value of CO2 percentage theoretical and CO2 percentage actual, which will you measure with the help of your instrument at the exhaust. So the percentage of excess air you have calculated is percentage of theoretical air. Now friends, few concepts are also important, and that will help you in understanding the question and solving the various numericals that are given in the book and in your previous year's question paper. So friends, once you have calculated the percentage CO2 theoretical and you have measured percentage CO2 actual, you can calculate the percentage excess air supplied. Now this percentage excess air supplied is what is percentage of theoretical air. Suppose you have calculated the percentage excess air supplied at X% and you have supplied the theoretical air as Y kg. So the actual air supplied will be the theoretical air plus excess air. So the theoretical air supplied is Y kg and the excess air will be X% of Y. So this will be your total air supplied. Now suppose you have to calculate the flue gas that is being formed, or you have to calculate the weight of this flue gas which is being formed. So as you know that this is your combustion chamber where fuel is entering. This is air is, now I can write it as actual air supplied, and this is your exhaust. When these two react, exhaust is getting formed. So by applying the mass balance equation, you can say this exhaust is nothing but summation of this fuel and this actual air supplied. So the weight of the flue gas, you can say, will be the mass of fuel which is entering the combustion chamber plus the mass of the actual air supplied. So now it is very much clear how you can calculate the weight of this flue gas. So friends, basically in my 3 videos I have completely covered all the concepts that are involved in the first chapter of the second guidebook. So friends, if you have liked my today's video, I will request you to kindly like and share it among your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So friends, this is all for the day. So friends, we will be meeting very soon. So till then, goodbye, and do take very good care of yourselves.